How's it going, guys? Cameron here with Canadian Gamer, coming at you with another video. Doing a little bit of a garage vlog, if you will. Now behind me you can see my 2010 Mercedes C350 W204. Now I just picked up a set of AMG 18-inch wheels, which are going to go on the car in a couple of weeks, so stay tuned for that vlog. I just sort of wanted to talk a bit, as summer winds down. I want to see how you guys are doing. What did you guys do over the course of the summer months? My biggest highlight was probably visiting Halifax, Nova Scotia. That was pretty awesome stuff. As a matter of fact, I'd like to go back again, hopefully maybe sometime in September, so be on the lookout for that. Other than that, there's not much going on. Obviously, there's a little bit of drama happening with PK in the universe. Again, the guy took a 25-day hiatus from YouTube, and then he comes back, and 24 hours later he befriends Marceau and blocks me. So not quite sure what's going on with that. I've had quite a few close friends and family members of PK reach out to me personally, asking me if I know where PK went during those 25 days he was gone. Apparently nobody could get a hold of him. They'd call his phone, and there was no ringtone, no dial tone. So, apparently at one point, his family and friends were reaching out to Interpol to see if they could put a trace on PK, because they really didn't know where the guy was. From what I've been told, he was located in some sort of a sex dungeon in Charlotte, North Carolina. That's all I know about the situation. It is developing. So anyways, stay tuned for that. And aside from that, I wanted to talk about Quake II again, because I talked about Quake II on the channel a couple of months ago. I was playing it on the Xbox 360 and nobody gave a damn. Nobody was talking about it. The video didn't get a lot of views. I'm not the only person that has been talking about Quake II over the years. There's been plenty of channels that have sort of done retro Let's Plays, Let's Reviews. Now all of a sudden the game comes out remastered for modern consoles, and now all of a sudden it's a big deal. You got John Linneman, who's going to be posting a video on it shortly. RGT85 just posted a video. All of a sudden he cares. MJR just posted a video on Quake II, etc., etc., etc. So I think it's hilarious that these retro channels, whatever's the latest, whatever's the hottest, you know what I mean? They jump right on it. Yet, like I said, before this game was even remastered, nobody gave two shits about it. Nobody was playing it. Nobody was talking about it on the Xbox 360. I was. Nobody else was. And again, now that it's been re-released, it's a big fucking deal all of a sudden. So, so that being said, let's get out of the garage here, and when I come back, we'll have a different backdrop, and we'll continue this discussion. Stay tuned. Just like that, we're outside, and I'm sitting in front of this abandoned asylum here. Not quite sure what it is. Silo. And the next thing I wanted to talk about was most overrated video game console of all time. We've talked about it before on the channel. I've given it a lot of thought, and after a lot of consideration, it was probably a toss-up between the Sega Master System and the Sega Saturn. And I'm going to give the nod to the Sega Saturn because, as I've talked about before on the channel, in period, and I would know I had a console, a Saturn, on launch, I was the laughingstock of the neighborhood. Nobody wanted anything to do with it. And here we are all these years later, and everybody's pretending to be nostalgic about it. And here's the thing, I get it. Perhaps there is a large, impressive Japanese availability of games, if you will, but in North America it just simply wasn't the case. And on top of that, the launch titles for that console were absolutely atrocious. Terrible ports, terrible port of Daytona USA, Virtual Fighter, pretty much all the ports, to be honest with you. Even a lot of people go on about Sega Rally on the Saturn like it's the second coming of Christ, and it's a terrible port of the arcade version. And the steering wheel, which I had, that came with sorry, it didn't come with the Saturn. It was an accessory you could purchase for the Saturn. One of the worst, if not the worst, home console steering wheel accessory ever made of all time. Terrible, absolutely terrible. So yeah, after a long thought about the matter, I would say the Sega Saturn is the most overrated console of all time. Plus, the actual console is extremely unreliable, lots of issues. Talk to anyone who owns one nowadays, and you pretty much have to have the thing sitting upside down, sitting on its disc tray in order for this console to read the disc. So yeah, as far as the Saturn is concerned, fuck that. The game prices are ridiculously through the roof. And like I said, if you owned one of those consoles in period, back in the day, nobody wanted a Sega Saturn. It was just an absolute embarrassment for Sega. To the point where, like, if you're asking me in the year 2023, which console would I rather have? A Sega Saturn or a Sega 32X? I'd rather have a 32X. At least the 32X I can use with the Genesis. You know what I mean? And if I get a Sega CD, then it's even better. But the Saturn, no, that's a terrible rabbit hole to go down. If there was ever a good excuse to use emulation, the Sega Saturn would be that. It's just a fucking extremely overrated console. The PS1 is way better than the Sega Saturn, so I don't want to hear any more people go on about the Saturn like it's this holy grail video game console, because that's just simply not the case. Now let's switch scenery again. And we're back. So the final thing I want to talk about before we end today's video, a nice backdrop here. It's nice to get outside once in a while, Marceau. You too, Elfenerd. I wanted to talk about the month of September because there's going to be a little bit of a hiatus on the channel, and I don't think it's going to be just me. The reason is because Starfield is going to be so time consuming. I don't know if it's going to be possible to put out, maybe not daily videos, but even videos every couple of days. What I'm thinking is I might focus specifically on Starfield for the month of September, and I'll try to put out kind of like an update video every couple of days, letting you guys know where I'm at with that game. So in doing that, it might alienate a lot of my, let's be honest here, 3,500 subscribers. But I feel like Starfield's a big enough deal that it warrants exclusively focusing on that game for the month of September. Now my goal is to hopefully beat the main campaign within a month. And that's a tall order for me, because typically a huge, massive open world game like that in that style and of scope could take me anywhere from 5 to 6 months to beat. That's how long it took me to beat Cyberpunk 2077, and Red Dead Redemption 2 took me about 6 months as well. So yeah, moving onward and upward for the month of September, it's going to be all about Starfield. I hope, and I know, the game's going to be a massive success for Microsoft and Team Xbox. And it's just going to be interesting to see how this all unfolds. You know, once the reviews come out, I imagine they're going to be 8, 9, 10 out of 10 scores. It'll be interesting to see if there's a momentum shift as far as existing PS5 and Switch owners that are going to maybe hop on Team Xbox just so that they can get their hands on this game. Albeit you can play it on PC as well. So we'll see how that goes. So I'm really excited for Starfield, and I am excited once I get Quake II Remastered from Limited Run Games in the mail sometime in 2025. I'll be looking forward to that. So I'm gonna cut it off there, guys. I hope you enjoyed this outdoor garage video, and yeah, we'll be talking to you soon. Thanks so much for watching. Have a great day.